Hey everybody, hope you're doing awesome. I'm going to show you in this video clip one of our last trips of the summer where I take the family down to Indiana, just west of South Bend. So today we're going to fly down to South Bend, and I'm going to show you some of the video on the ground as we get ready for our flight. I had some audio problems after the climb checklist. Somewhere in there, the connector that brings in the audio feed from the intercom got loose, so I'm gonna cut out some of those clips. And all it was talking about kind of, en route. We got a couple of reroutes. We had to change altitudes a couple times, but anyway, most of it should be fine. But I wanted to mention a couple of other things that I just thought was very important before you watch, for some of you that might be, maybe you're a student pilot or you're just learning how to fly. Just a couple of important things from the video. The first thing that you're going to notice is I do a lot of my checklists and pre-flight briefings and things of that nature as I taxi to the runway. I don't like to be doing that in a big airplane right on the ramp, and I also I don't want to be holding up traffic. And so most professional flight crews are going to do a lot of work while they taxi. Now, the difference is going to be, right, when you're in a training environment, you're still new, you're still learning about what you check for on those types of things like run-ups, checklists, like at UND, we have those big long checklists. As you progress up your career and you learn those foundations, ironically, your checklists are actually going to get smaller. So if you look at like most airlines, they're just one page. They call them a QRC, a quick reference card. So we do a lot of flow patterns and then just very, very short checklists to make sure that we get the like absolute critical items. So anyway, I mention that because people that fly with me, they're like, "Whoa, you're going way fast through everything," and what they're not realizing is that, well, A, I've been flying for 25 years, and B, I've flown this airplane, this one N number for the past 7 years, so I know exactly what I'm looking for. And I've flown professionally. I'm a flight instructor, and so I always tell people, like, remember that when you're watching these types of videos, you're flying with me for who I am today. And if you're still learning how to fly, then you should not be doing that. If you're learning how to fly, you want to make sure that you always stop the airplane to do a checklist. Put the parking brake on if you're doing an engine run-up. There's just a lot of differences as you learn to fly versus once you move up into like the professional world. And again, I'm telling you, the bigger the airplane, the faster that crew is going to be moving and working and lots of things, but all in the line of safety. So as I taxi, there's a lot of things that you're not going to be able to see. So my oldest daughter is videoing, and she's got the phone way down, like on the checklist, and you'll see that on the taxi out. But you can't see me. My head is, I'm always looking out, because obviously that's a critical phase while we're taxiing to the runway, and we want to make sure that we don't get off center line, and we're not, getting too close to the edge of the taxiway, that there's no traffic. And you'll hear me in the video call out like, hey, we're coming up to a crossing runway, so we're going to pause here, just double check. So just remember that at my level and what I'm looking for is going to be very different than where you're at if you're just learning how to fly. So you'll see that. And then again, I'll get this through the climb out, but then en route, the audio is just, I don't want to make you watch a 2-minute clip of weird airplane noise. So you'll get to see the flight. I'll show a picture of what we ended up. We got a little bit of a reroute over Lake Michigan there because it's a military airspace. And then I'll give you a little video clip of the FBO. Overall, it was great, uneventful flight. And anyway, hope you enjoy. If you like the video, please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you have any suggestions or things you'd like to see or learn about, make sure you let me know, or you can just comment on my Facebook page. Thanks, guys.
All VFR arrivals from the eastern departures, runway 17 left, contact Grand Forks Tower.
So right now we're going to get what's called ATIS.
All other aircraft contact.
I think it's Automated Terminal Information Service. It's going to give us the weather.
Irregular surface 35 left between Alpha 3 and Alpha 4. Non-standard hold position markings. Use caution for birds. Hazardous weather available. Flight service frequency. Radar service available. Grand Forks approach 132.3. Advise on initial contact. You have echo.
Echo for the letter E. They code it to the letters, so we'll go ahead and get the weather now.
Grand Forks Tower information. Echo 1353 Zulu. Wind 170 at 7. Visibility 10. Sky clear below 12,000. Temperature 17. Dew point 14. Altimeter 299.6. Visual approach for my 17 right in use. Landing and departing runway 17 right and left. All VFR arrivals from the east and departures, runway 17 left, contact Grand Forks Tower 120.55. All other aircraft contact Grand Forks Tower 118.4.
Okay.
Notice airman, TFR in effect.
So I have information echo. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to get our instrument clearance. You go ahead and stop the video and then we'll start. Now we're going to get our clearance. So we're going to call and ask them, hey, what's the route that we're going to be going to South Bend, Indiana today? And I filed, so I actually took our flight plan and I gave it to air traffic control. And now we're just going to see like, hey, do you have any changes to that information? What should we expect? Grand Forks clearance, Twin Cessna 902 Bravo Alpha IFR 2 South Bend.
Twin Cessna 902 Bravo Alpha, Grand Forks clearance delivery cleared to, I missed where you said it was. It might have been, well, I'll just go Sierra Bravo November Airport as filed. Maintain 3000, expect flight level 190, 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 118.1, squawk 2632.
Clear to South Bend as filed, up to 3,000, 190 in 10 minutes, 118.1, 2632 in the squawk for 902 Bravo Alpha.
Number 2 Bravo Alpha, read back correct.
Okay, so now I'm going to put 2632 in what's called our transponder. I've already got my frequency set. Now he said as filed, and I told air traffic control, we'll show you in flight here, but I told air traffic control that I want to fly from Grand Forks to a little point called Brave. It's called Brave intersection because it's in the middle of Lake Michigan. And then we're going to fly from there down to South Bend. The reason I picked Brave is because I've done this flight many times, and that's typically to get you around Chicago. They'll put you right into the Brave intersection. So I told air traffic control that that's what we were going to do, and so now they cleared us as filed. So I'm putting that into our GPS here, and if you want to kind of go over here to our GPS, you can see right here, Grand Forks, Brave, South Bend. And if I turn the flight plan off and I zoom out kind of a ways, I can just double check to make sure that this is all loaded in here. Now there's a bunch of other things in here, but all right, you can see Lake Michigan's there. So this looks accurate to me. If I hit clear again, you can see all the states. There's Minnesota, Lake Michigan, etc. So anyway, it looks good to us, and we'll update you once we start to take off. What we'll do is we're going to contact Grand Forks Ground Control and just make sure that, and tell them that we're ready to go. Grand Forks Ground, Twin Cessna 902 Bravo Alpha, we're to have flight with information echo.
Twin Cessna 902 Bravo Alpha, Grand Forks Ground, 17 right. Taxi via Alpha 4 Alpha, cross, runway 90 left.
17 right via Alpha 4 Alpha, cross 90 left. Okay, so what we want to do is we always want to brief our...
2 Bravo Alpha. I think I heard everything there except your call sign. Can you just say the runway with your call sign?
You bet, sorry about that. 902 Bravo Alpha, 17 right via Alpha 4 Alpha, cross 90 left.
2 Bravo Alpha, thank you sir, and caution for vehicles at the Bravo Alpha intersection.
2 Bravo Alpha will use caution, thank you. Okay, so as we taxi out now, I always like to brief it. So we're going to be going out Alpha 4, which is directly behind us. You can't see that. We're going to do a right turn on Alpha. We're going to taxi down to 17 right, and we're cleared to cross the crossing runway. And even when we cross those runways, even though we're clear to cross it, we'll double check it. So anyway, we'll pause here and we'll pick it up on the taxi. Okay, so right now, we just made the right turn onto taxiway Alpha. And every time we go to take off, it's very important that we make sure that all of our systems work out well. And when you're first learning to fly, you're always going to do these checks in a, like kind of a private area. Obviously, I've been flying this airplane a very long time, so I like to do just a quick check while I'm taxiing out here and I'm away from everybody. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring up the engines to 1,700 RPM.
The Archer that's on Charlie 2.
Okay, about 1,700 RPM, and you can just leave it here. I'm going to check my ignition system. That's both left magnetos on the engines. That's both right magnetos in the engines. And then I'm going to check just kind of the RPMs of the engine here. We're going to let some nice warm oil up into our propeller, and we're going to do that 3 times on the first flight of the day. Checking to make sure those systems work good. And then I just look over here and I make sure that all my engine gauges are in the green, and they are, and I'll bring the power back to 1,000 RPM. I do a quick flow before I take off here. I'm going to check it to make sure that my trims are set for takeoff, which they are. Wing flaps are up and indicating up. Cow flaps are open. Fuel selectors are on the main tanks. Emergency crossfeed is off. No enunciators that we're not expecting. Flight controls, watch your knees there. We're going to check and make sure flight controls are correct.
Behind the Seminole.
Okay, we're coming up to an active runway here, so I certainly want to make sure that there's no traffic, so I'm going to pause. I see some traffic off to the right. They're holding. We're cleared to cross the runway.
Tango traffic, so waiting on Bravo 1 for you to pass.
All right, we are cleared to cross 9er left, and I do not see any traffic. And now, as we always do, we're going to do our checklist here. Before takeoff checklist, our engine run-up is complete. Fuel quantity, we've confirmed that. It's topped off. We have 4 hours and 45 minutes of gas. We're expecting a 3-hour flight, so we have about an hour and 45 minutes reserved. Fuel selectors, we check those are on the main tanks. Emergency crossfeed is off. Trim tabs are set for takeoff. Wing flaps are up. Flight instruments and avionics are set. I've got that programmed in the GPS. Lights are as required. And actually, for avionics here, I'm going to set runway heading into my head indicator. Lights, I've got anti-collisions and navs on for now. Cabin door and windows are closed. Pressurization is set to 500 feet above field elevation. Enunciator panel is standard for what we have. We have the air conditioning on and low RPM, so we have a couple of enunciators on. Fuel pumps are on low. Flight controls are free and correct. Ice protection, right now we don't have it, but on takeoff I'm going to turn my pitot heat and stall heat on. And seat belts and shoulder harnesses are secure. Our before takeoff checklist is complete and we're ready for departure. The only thing is I'm standing by on the stall heat and pitot heat. All right, you can go ahead and stop there. All right, so we're short of the runway here. You can see there's an airplane on final approach there. And I'm going to call tower and let them know that we're ready. Grand Forks Tower, Twin Cessna 902 Bravo Alpha, ready for departure 17 right.
Twin Cessna 2 Bravo Alpha, Grand Forks Tower, stand by.
Okay, so she told me to stand by, which means I'm not even going to respond. I'm just going to wait, and I'm sure because there's this airplane coming in to land here. You can watch them if you want. So just a quick review. We're going to be rotating at 100 knots. If we have any problems on the runway, any lost direction control, major enunciators, or engine failures, we'll abort the takeoff. And if we're airborne today, once we take off, we do have positive climb performance, even if we have an engine failure. So once we take off, if we do have an engine failure, we're going to continue the takeoff, and we'll come back around to land at 179.
Turn left Alpha 3, taxi via straight in, or Alpha 4, remain at frequency.
Alpha 3, and we'll go straight in off Alpha 3. With you, 69 November Delta.
Twin Cessna 902 Bravo Alpha, Grand Forks Tower, fly runway heading, runway 17 right, clear for takeoff, climb maintain 1010,000.
Fly runway heading, climb maintain 1010,000, clear for takeoff 17 right, 902 Bravo Alpha. All right, so we're going to take off on 17 right. We're going to check our final approach. I don't see any air traffic on that. We're going to use as much runway as we can. And on these big turbocharged engines, one of the best things we can do is just do a nice, slow increase in power while we're holding the brakes. And then once we release the brakes, we're going to just hold center line and then rotate at 100 knots. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to bring the power up just like we do at UND and the Piper Seminoles. I bring the power up to let the engines warm up a little bit. I check the gauges, I make sure that the instrumentation is in the green. Bring up a little bit of power here, get those engines nice and warm. And we're nice and slowly do brakes release, and we'll smoothly bring the powers to full power.
Tower 69 November Delta, we'll actually take Alpha to Alpha 4.
Okay, the engines are fully warmed.
69.
We've set full power. Engine gauges are still in the green, airspeed is alive. And we're passing 80 knots. We're looking for a rotate speed of 100. 100 knots rotate. Positive rate, gear up. And we're going to pitch for 112 knots for safety. We're going to snug up our throttles here. And we were told to fly runway heading, so we're just flying straight ahead. All right, so right now we're going to do our climb checklist. The climb power is set. I've set 35 inches of manifold pressure, 2,500 RPMs. Mixtures are going to stay rich. The pressurization I've set to 19,500 feet. The gear is up and locked. The landing light is retracted and off. The pitot heat is on, and there is no ice protection right now because it's a beautiful, nice, clear day to go fly. Climb checklist is complete. And my first officer appears to be at the controls.